Hey folks, so Drunken Homemaker here. I am doing this video as sort of an update and lols. It's going to be really funny. If I look over to the side, it's because the viewfinder is there for me because that makes sense. I should put it here. I still have yet to figure out my setup because it's the first time I'm shooting at night, which you probably can't tell because I have a giant studio light pointed at my face and it hurts my eyes. So I'm trying to figure this out. It's kind of funny because I haven't actually posted the first video that I shot, which was like sort of talking about all the goals that I had for this year. So lols, I'm a little bit behind on that. But I decided that I was going to pick this up again and do sort of like an update video because I do feel like the progress that I've made thus far is noteworthy to a certain extent. I think I was too adamant about putting the plants in the frame. That might be better. Okay. Here we go. So the last time I recorded something I believe was in January. It is currently, I don't even know why I keep saying the dates because it's kind of depressing because I'm not going to put, who knows when I haven't even put that video up, so who knows if I'm going to put this one up. But I felt like it was important to check in and sort of let you know where I was at with the goal setting and all that stuff. So I'm going to sort of talk about some of the goals that I set for myself, how I sort of was affected, and how the changes that I was able to make and the changes that I wasn't able to make. And I'm just going to be very honest because I feel like it's important to sort of talk about the fact that before we get better at stuff, we have to fall a bunch of times on our face and sort of figure it out. I guess I will start by saying that this winter, so we live in Western New York, and it is an understatement to say that the winters here are very long to the point where this is the winter that broke me because it was like the never-ending winter and I was not in a good place about it and I was really stressed out, and I would say seasonal affective disorder to the max. It was really bad. So that was sort of, part of my struggle with getting done the goals that I had set for myself. I really was in a bad place. I think it was even up to like not last Thursday, but the Thursday before that. I literally told my supervisor I was leaving early, and came home early and sat on the couch because I was sad. Because the winter was it was just cold and I was just done. We hadn't gotten nice weather. And then last weekend was the first weekend where we actually had nice weather. And so, long story short, that really made the winter very difficult. And it sort of made me hyper aware of like, I can't live here forever. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, I know now that about myself. It's like, I don't think that I can survive a winter that long. Who knows, the spring and the summer are going to be upon us soon, and then I'm sure I'm going to have a different outlook on it. But let's move on to the next thing. I've already wasted a whole 5 minutes telling you how sad I was during the winter. So waking up at 5 a.m., all caps, did not happen. And then I put ha 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 ha. So I tried it. I tried it for about I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks in January. And I mean, I'll tell you, I was miserable. I hated it. By the time I was done with work, I was exhausted. And I was ready to go to bed like as soon as I got home because I was like adjusting to the schedule. And so I kind of had to come to the conclusion that, so I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a full-time employee. I write on the side, and I want to do this. So all of that sort of compacted together. Oh yeah, and I do theater also whenever I get the chance of it, or I should say whenever people let me. So all of that compacted into just 5 a.m. was just not going to happen for me. And it's interesting because you go on YouTube and you see like all these people that are like, oh, how to wake up at 5 a.m. and how it'll completely change your life. Not the case with me. I was miserable, and yeah, granted, I didn't give it the full time that it needed. But really, realistically, when you work, a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4, whatever it is, you don't necessarily need to get up at 5 a.m. Even if you do have stuff that you want to get done additional. So for me, I sort of had to ask myself, is this something that I need to do, or is it something that I want to do because it's trendy and because the people are doing it? And yeah. So I got to the point where I told myself, this is not healthy for me, and it's not giving me the results that I want. So I was exhausted, and I was really cranky and really miserable. And so yeah, and my body was just kind of accustomed to its schedule. So what I'm doing now, and it's been going fairly well, I have to say. What I've been doing is I've been getting up at 6 a.m., which I think is a nice, healthy compromise. It's an hour later. I still have plenty of time to do stuff in the morning, but I'm not necessarily a morning person to begin with. So I'm still working on those like everyday habits. But waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning is just one that I'm like, this I can do. So now that I'm waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, the next step would be to incorporate all of the practices that I want to do in the morning, which is a lot to jam into, before I go to work. But if I get them done, I'm very productive, and I can and I can potentially write and do the stuff that I want to do during the day. So it's worthwhile for me. Some of those practices for me are meditating. I would like to do a yoga practice. So meditating is something that I realistically have been putting into, whenever I can, I will meditate. Morning pages. So I do own the book Artist's Way, but I haven't gone through the journey, the 12-week journey. I'm excited to, but it's also like I'm trying to do certain habits that will enable me to get to that point. However, the morning pages practice of writing 3 pages, I think, is brilliant, and I really like it. But I don't do the 3 pages because I feel like I think part of like that is to sort of unblock yourself, and I don't think I'm there yet. But I think I'm also very, very healthy in the way that whatever needs to come out does come out in terms of emotions and feelings and stuff like that. I definitely honor who I am as a person, and I try to be very upfront with how I'm feeling. So that being said, meditation, morning pages. I would like to throw in a yoga practice in the morning because I feel like it would do me a world of good, but I'm not there yet. So mornings are going really well. I'm still at the point where I get up, I meditate, and then like I make myself a cup of coffee, and then like I sit here and I just watch YouTube videos because that's what I do as like a self-care thing. So I'm not quite at the point where I'm using my mornings to the fullest, but I'm getting up earlier. I've been doing my makeup in the morning, which has been really nice for me. So, just getting back some of that time that I need to myself. And I really am kind of getting to that point where I'm like, I need this. I really need this to just kind of feel good and feel present and alive, right? Gym. Let's talk about the gym. So one of the things that I was trying to focus on also was getting healthier in 2018. Better Me 2018, right? That's the name of the series, I guess. So the gym, what I've been doing is I was trying to go to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I already am at the gym that I go to because my girls swim there on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I finally had this moment of clarity where I was like, why don't I go on Mondays and Wednesdays when I'm already there and the girls are already at swim and all this good stuff. So I've started doing that. It's early yet. I feel like I'm in my 3rd week. And and still I like last week on Wednesday I was just like so dead tired that I just came home and I just took my knitting bag, I think, and it just didn't work out. Some days it doesn't work out, but I'm trying to do it 2 times a week. This week I am gonna try to do a spin class on Friday evening, and I'm going to see how that goes. But overall, it really just, it's really about honoring the goals that I'm setting for myself and trying to do them to the best of my ability. And right now, going to the gym 2 times a week, while it might not sound like a lot to a lot of people, that's a lot for me, and that's challenging for me. And it's, I'm trying to build the foundation of, if I do this for, however many months straight, then, maybe I can build something else on top of it and maybe go to the gym 5 days a week. So yeah, so I'm feeling good about the gym. I've been enjoying it. One of the things that I have been sort of a game changer for me was with the gym that I go to is sort of like in a basement. It sounds like the weirdest, but whatever. Um, and I didn't have access to my music. And I don't know about you guys, but if I don't have music at the gym, like music motivates me so much when I'm at the gym. It is everything. Like I'm not one of those people that can listen to an audiobook and just kind of like zone out. No, like I need to work out my issues. I need to work out, like I have to work out my demons when I'm, on an elliptical. Like that's who I am in the gym. That's my personality. That sounds healthy. But really that's what it is. So the music was like a big part of me getting motivated at the gym. So yeah, so I got that Spotify subscription where you can download a list, and so I have my list entitled "Da Gym," and it works, man. I'm there, and I can only be there for about an hour because that's the time that my kids are in the pool doing their swim stuff. So I only have an hour, but I feel like I do so much in that hour, and I get so much stuff done in an hour that it feels really nice. Whereas like before I had the playlist, like I would go and I would, you know, didn't have the best music. I had to kind of go with whatever Pandora offline mode would throw at me, and it wasn't very motivating. So I know I'm very particular, but I am, and I know what works for me. And I have to have like a sick playlist. And I'll talk about at the end what some of my things on my playlist are. So we'll talk about writing. So writing, wanting to make money from my art. I feel like I'm gonna give myself a little tiny round of applause. I already messed up my nails. I just did them, but I messed them up already. Um, I feel so good about the strides that I've made in my process with writing. Um, the I wrote a play in 2014, and I was feeling really guilty because I hadn't written anything new. And then at the end of last year, I started talking to my friend about the series that we wanted to sort of put together, which is right now looking like it's going to be a web series for the time being. But we started getting together and sort of figuring out what we wanted it to be, what was important to us, and started developing it, and started just writing out scenes for it, and then we ended up writing a treatment for the whole first season and all that good stuff. And we're still working on it, and we're talking about doing a web series to start out with the hope and desire to have a series, like an actual full television series. Um, and that sort of started sparking a lot of stuff in me where I was like, I want to go back and edit my play, and I want to start submitting. If you have ever written for theater, if you are a playwright, you know what you're probably nodding along. Like the submission process is very complex. It's annoying, it's tedious, and it's outdated in my opinion. So this year, working on this series with my friend sort of relit that fire in me, to the point where I went back and I edited my play, and I sat down and I I talked to a fellow playwright, and I was like, teach me your ways, because she submits all the time and she gets her play produced all the time. So I sort of asked her, like, how do you maneuver this awful system, because I hate it and it makes me hate my life. And she just kind of pointed me in the direction to a webinar that she did, and I mean, it was so helpful, and I really felt like something clicked, and so I did an edit, and then I finally shelved that play. I even did like a little play shelving ceremony where I was like, I'm putting all the drafts into a binder and I'm putting it on the shelf for a while. And I'm just going to be submitting it for different competitions, play reading series, festivals, things like that. So basically, I started submitting my play to stuff again, and I made a goal for myself to write 2 plays this year. I'm a little bit behind because I haven't started the first one, and we are in May. It's not too late, but I want to give this play the time that it deserves. I've been doing a lot of research, so it's been interesting. The writing, I feel like, has not gone the way that I expected it to go in terms of, I wanted to have, like, I wanted to be, like, fully invested in the first play and really kind of, knee deep in it already. And that just hasn't been the case. And I think it hasn't been the case because I'm still figuring out that writing process for myself. While I do feel like I'm a writer at heart, I still am so new at it that I still have to figure out that process for myself. I've actually been watching a lot of YouTube videos from Natalia Lee, and that's been very helpful for me because she talks about her writing process, and she's a novelist, and it's a different process because playwriting is just a creature of its own, and it's very different. But it was very inspiring to see her go through all these edits for her new book, and having like 24 beta readers and going through all those edits and just pushing through, because I mean that's the part that's the hardest after it's written and you're just sort of like, well, now what do I do? And watching her go through that and just kind of like stick with it was so inspiring that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull this play off the shelf, I'm gonna dust it off, and I'm gonna give it a go again, and really putting myself out there and applying to a lot of stuff that I wasn't good at submitting plays. I submit, and honestly, I have to sort of thank my lucky stars because the few things that I would submit to, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't get as many rejections as maybe I should have expected, because I the first time I submitted my play, I was a semifinalist for the Eugene O'Neill National Playwriting Conference, and that's a big deal. It's semifinalist, it's not finalist. I don't go on their website or anything like that, but like, that was a big deal. Long story short, the writing process is going lovely, swimmingly. It's been good for me to put myself out there and take some risks this year and learn a lot. I feel like I'm growing as a person. Feels good. Feels nice. And I say that jokingly, but at the same time, like I do mean it. Like, I really feel like I've been growing this year. Moving on to housekeeping. It's been going all right. If I pan this way, you can see like my coat, because from when I got home from work, I just kind of dumped it, and yesterday I was home and I was able to sort of tidy up a bit, and it was really nice, and I vacuumed, and then my kid ate chips here and left the juice there, and it is life. It is life at its best, and I just kind of have to figure it out. So that's something that's definitely, I'm trying, but I'm focusing in on one habit at a time, and it's working out for me. Eat healthier, on and off. This week is going pretty well. Today my husband made like a teriyaki stir fry that I'm very grateful for. Last week was rubbish. I was kind of, I feel like I was stressed out last week, and I was eating kind of garbage. Like, I was eating garbage food. And I noticed that there is a correlation between A, me getting stressed out, B, gravitating towards junky food, C, the food making me feel like garbage, much like the food that I eat when I'm stressed out. So, I am feeling better now that I'm eating healthier, and, eating healthy snacks and all that stuff. And I have to be better about prepping that stuff in the morning. That's what I have to sort of figure out. I have not gotten very good at that. Like I said, one habit at a time. It's so hard because you want to sort of change overnight, but that's just not how it works. Skin, I put here. I was doing so well. I was doing really well with it. My skin was really improving a lot. And then I got really stressed out and I started picking at my face last week. So I'm kind of bummed. You might be able to see a few things there. Right there. But I was getting better, and every day is just, you know, I noticed that there is a correlation between me getting stressed out, eating garbage, picking at my face, and it's all linked together and it all makes me feel not great. But one thing at a time, right? That's what I keep telling myself. Uh, and hopefully, you know, I feel like I've made a lot of strides this year, so I'm trying to give myself credit where credit is due, right? All right, let's see. So I want to be able to keep it short. This isn't all of the stuff that I listed in the first video, but it is nice, and you know, it's a nice start to like work on establishing sustainable habits. And stuff that I am digging. I put Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer because I believe that it was like released either last week or this week, no, last week. And it's just so good. And she released an what is it called? An emotion film to go with it, which I'm thrilled about, and it's amazing. And I was really jamming to it. And then also, I know I'm super late to the party, but with the announcement that Kendrick Lamar got the Pulitzer for his album Damn, I've gone back and watched all the videos and just just kind of like basking in this beautiful artistry and the amazing artist that is Kendrick Lamar. Really, I've really been enjoying that this week. So yeah, I've been really taking that in, and Janelle Monáe's is so much about female sexuality, and it's just a beautiful time for artists. I will say that. So I've been getting a lot from that, so that's been really exciting. And then stuff that I'm excited about and grateful for. The weather has improved today. While I was doing my nails, outside. I'm really excited about this spring/summer because I love to garden. And part of the thing that I not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing with all of this is because I love to do so many things. I'm also knitting something. I'm also, you know, I like to cook on occasion, and I like to garden, and I like plants, and I like all the things. So one of the things that I struggle with is sort of keeping focus on what it is that I am going to be doing, right? So deciding what it is, what that looks like, and deciding how that's going to go down. It's been a little bit difficult thus far because I really do feel like I have so many interests. You know, I am drunken homemaker, and I feel like that's a little bit of everything. And drunken homemaker is just that. I am drunk and I homemake. So there's that. So yeah, so thank you for joining me on this sunlit evening. I'm kidding, it's not sunlit. It's just a really bright light that I got specifically for this because my life is crazy. I'm excited about what the future holds, and I'm gonna really try to be more regular about this and really start posting videos regularly. YouTube is definitely not gonna make it easy on me because, you know, they're doing the whole thing where you have to have like, I think it's like over 1,000 followers or subscribers, sorry. And yeah, it's kind of they're making it a little tedious, a little bit tedious, but we're gonna stick it out. I'm gonna see what I can get done here, and I like this as sort of just like a diary of like what I'm working on, how the progress I'm making, and hopefully like being able to look at this just for posterity's sake. It sounds kind of nice to me, so hopefully that'll work. But thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and you know, subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you like it, hit subscribe. And I guess comment below what are some of the goals that you're working on this year, and how are you doing so far with your New Year's resolutions and Better Me 2018 goals. That's what we're all calling it. All the cool people. All right. Pow, 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 pow.